This is Reality Dispatch, written by Jim Mins.
The mirror was dirty. He went to the attached toilet room and basin to extract a piece of paper. He wet it under the sink and took a step back to the mirror to give it a rub. He wanted to remove the smudge marks of the previous occupant. From his position, he was able to lob the wet paper back into the toilet bowl. He wished the ensuite was large enough to refer to it as a bathroom. The subsidized accommodation was heavily worn. The carpet was ripped. The bed was dank. He had slid his suitcase underneath the bed earlier and knelt to retrieve it, not having faith in the cleanliness underneath the frame. As he removed the bag by its handle, he was faced with an open condom wrapper. Jesus, he muttered to himself. He stood back up and faced himself in the mirror, disheveled. He ran a finger along the paper lines left from the toilet roll after his wipe down. He gathered them between his thumb and finger and flicked them to the floor like snot from a nose. He walked over to the television set and switched it on at the unit. Hollywood's Night of Nights. The 95th Academy Awards are held at the Dolby Theater on Hollywood Boulevard. Anyone who is anyone will be in attendance, and E.T. will be here to capture all of the magic and all of the memories as the stars line up to receive their awards. He switched off the machine with vigor. He walked back over to his image in the mirror and adjusted his collar. He moved an imaginary bow tie along his neckline. "You don't cancel me. I cancel you," he said to himself. Along the strip was a thrift clothing store. He ventured inside with his sunglasses on, his baseball cap down, and a COVID mask sheltering the last resemblance of his appearance. He browsed through the suits on offer and stumbled upon a faded tuxedo. It was an obscure brand he had never heard of before. Kelly Country. It was a 32 long. He looked around for assistance to the changing rooms, saw that none was on offer. He caught a glimpse of the rooms at the far end of the store. He took the suit off the rack and walked it over to the rooms, locking the door behind him. He put on the suit in the dim light of the single bulb that illuminated the space. There was no mirror. He was forced to walk out into the open and observe his appearance amongst the others who had ventured inside on the promise of a discount. He looked upon himself and the ill-fitting suit in the mirror nearest the changing room. A child played with a series of second-hand fire truck toys. He made loud noises as he smashed and collided the items into one another at the feet of the former Oscar winner. Parkley moved his black-socked feet, with a hole where the big toe was, away from the child, but this obstructed his view in the mirror. The suit was off. The legs ended a good foot above his ankles, exposing his hairs. The sleeves stopped higher than the wrists. He looked like a fool. It was the only tux on offer, though, and he was determined to get himself to the party. "You don't cancel me, I cancel you," he mouthed to himself in the mirror. The child stopped smashing the trucks and looked up at the two-time Oscar winner with a squint of unfamiliarity in his eyes. He would have been no younger than 3, no older than 5. "Feelings mutual, kid," he muttered as he walked back to the changing rooms. He took the bus from the boulevard all the way to the Hollywood Strip. The route was closed on this day, as it was every year. He saw multiple limos on the journey with their tinted windows traveling to the show. He remembered his own days, chauffeured to the event. He remembered the time he won, the first time. He remembered the white coat that his mother insisted upon. Like Sean Connery, she had said, "Rest her soul." He looked down at his attire. The jacket did not match the pants, a detail only illuminated in the daylight. He sighed to himself. He looked out the bus once more and spotted another limo making the pilgrimage, its window slightly ajar, the occupant blowing out smoke from a vape, surrounded by the beautiful and the glamorous. Parkley knew who it was. He had never worked with the boy, but he had seen his work and desired him. He had hoped to be a co-star one of these days. To no avail. His phone never rang. The only audience he could command was a sea of trolls who watched on whenever he made an announcement on the cesspool of social media. The bus approached the boulevard as close as it could arrive. The passengers disembarked to their places of employment. Astroburger, Denny's. One person had on a uniform for Ripley's Believe It or Not. Parkley descended the stairs to the sidewalk and felt the warm breeze of the diesel engine disappear behind him. The facade of the Jimmy Kimmel Show was across the street. He remembered entering from the loading dock 15 years prior. The paparazzi there to see his arrival. His entourage, his best friends. He was flanked. He wondered where all those people were today. He woke from his daydream to the sight of Spider-Men and Pirates of the Caribbean impersonators. He walked on as fast as he could to avoid eye contact. The gathering crowd was pressed against the barriers and the temporary seats that had been enabled for the punters to watch on in sycophantic admiration the arrival of their soulless, parasitic desires. There were cheers at every interval. Phones were held in hands up high to snap glimpses of those who graced the covers of magazines that no one read and appeared on shows that no one watched on TV anymore. Parkley walked amongst the crowd uninterrupted. No one stopped him for an autograph or a selfie. He was able to blend in without his COVID mask, hat, and sunglasses. As he approached the media barrier, he could see the entertainment reporters lined up to snag interviews from the side of the red carpet. "You don't cancel me. I cancel you," he reminded himself. He approached them head-on, not knowing why. He was no longer in control. The barrier drew closer. He was on the verge of trespassing. He held no pass, no invitation, and this town had made it clear it wanted nothing to do with him. But he had once commanded its respect. Surely, he had told himself, surely deep down that respect nestled, laying dormant. It was there due to his hard work and tenacity. It would always be there. All he had to do was show up, and so too would it. Tonight was the night he would show up. "I'm sorry, sir, this is a private event," came the voice of a youth. She held his arm slightly to grab his attention, but not to relay a message of force. Parkley turned to face her. He produced his most charming smile. He hadn't been a recipient of 2 Oscars for nothing. She smiled back, instinctively. "I saw a friend in the crowd. I had to go over and say hello," he informed her. "I'll be heading back in now," he said. He removed his arm from her grasp and proceeded over to the red carpet. His presence caught the attention of the media in mid-interview. They began to swing their cameras and interrupt their live streams. "Ladies and gentlemen, Martin Parkley has just shown up on the red carpet. We presume this is some form of a prank or practical joke." "Nothing is confirmed at the moment," came the commentary from one corner. The other camera operators followed suit. The red carpet attendees looked on in disgust. Security leapt over the fences and carefully walked over, sensing a confrontation. Parkley's face flushed. He looked on at the bystanders, who all had their mobile cameras focused on him. He was the center once more. He commanded their attention. He held their gaze. But inside, he knew he did not hold their respect. He drew a breath. "You don't cancel me," he yelled. "I cancel you." The security team, by which time there were 8 on hand, jumped on him and tackled the one-time darling of Tinseltown onto the ground. 1,000 shutters rolled to capture the moment. Parkley broke his hand in the commotion. His humiliation was complete.
For more stories of fact-based fiction, head to jimmins.substack.com.